Welcome. This is Brian and Christina Hagen from Your Healthy Steps, where we offer foam rolling and self-care training so you can be active, pain-free, and healthy, and you can do what you love to do. So why do your muscles get sore, tight, and achy? Well, it's not because you're getting older, right? It's because the accumulation of scar tissue, adhesions, repetitive use, and poor posture. And today we're going to discuss how scar tissue makes our muscles tight, sore, and achy. Scar tissue, what is it?
Okay, well, scar tissue is really the body's healing of when it's been cut, torn, or injured, right? Say with a bruise or an impact. And if you just think of it as a patching of damaged muscle. It's the same thing as if you scrape your arm and you see that scar. That's basically the same thing that you're seeing throughout the muscle, especially if there's a tear or something. The scar tissue is not going to be as strong as the original muscle, so that creates a problem. It's actually more prone to more injury at the scar tissue, and that scar tissue is going to inhibit the fluid movement of the muscle. So as it tries to contract and elongate, that scar tissue is going to inhibit that or create interference with it. So again, it creates more tightness, more scar tissue. It's just kind of an accumulative type thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what can cause scar tissue? Maybe that's a silly question.
Not really. I mean, it's things like surgery. So when they go in and they start cutting, that can create some scar tissue. And a lot of people out there have had surgery, so they know exactly what we're talking about. Injury, overextending the muscle and it tears, or an impact. So any of those things can cause scar tissue. Overuse, repetitive use, underuse. Those things are just sort of chronic things that build up over time. They can create scar tissue. The major ones, the tears, those are the ones that really catch your attention, right? Because you know about it really quickly. You had made a point about it, feeling like little twinge, right? Like, you go to stand up, or maybe you go down the stairs and something. That is quite possibly a tear. The muscle has gotten tight, and the scar tissue in you may have had more of a tear. So those little tiny ones, when we say to ourselves, gosh, I think I pulled something, but then the pain goes away, you probably did. You probably tore it a little bit. And again, it's cumulative, and it's going to impact your mobility.
I think most people are familiar with the surgery scars, right? You can see them. I see a lot of women who have mastectomies, and that's a big scar, and it definitely does affect the range of motion. But it's those microscopic tears that we get every day that I think a lot of people aren't familiar with that. Right.
I mean, that's why people will say, I love that term, so I'm just getting old. And it's like, well, you are, but it's your movement, the fluid movement is not because you're older. It's just you've got this accumulative scar tissue. And if you look on your body where you've had scars, that's what if you can think about that deep in the muscle, that's what you have.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what you have. Yep. And then lots of it.
Okay. So how do these tiny scar tissues, the microscopic scars, how do they affect our muscles?
Well, again, they impact that movement. So, I mean, there's so many of these little scar tissues all throughout, and they're going to impact the muscles as they try to contract and to elongate. That's going to impact it. So it weakens the strength of the muscle, the speed that it can do it at, and the endurance of the muscle. So again, it can impact it. So the microscopic tears and even the big tears, so those are all going to have that same sort of impact.
Yeah. So what can we do about this? How can we make it all better?
Well, I'm a big fan of foam rolling. I think foam rolling, that self-care, is going to help break out that scar tissue, because you've got to break it out of there so that your body can get rid of it. So you have to do the job of helping getting rid of that. So and also just being aware of the habits that you do, the repetitive movements that you're doing, how much sitting you're doing, because movement is one of those things that you need to do every day. You've just got to get out and move. Your body will respond to it. Your body needs movement, and movement will help. It's not going to get rid of the scar tissue, but it is going to sort of slow down the cumulative stuff when you're sitting all the time. So movement will help your body sort of increase the blood flow, and that will help. But for most of us, especially from 30 on, we got to break that scar tissue out of there. And the foam rolling stuff is really good for the microscopic stuff and some injury stuff. But the big injuries, like if you've had surgery or if you've really torn a muscle, that's when you need to get professional help. And there's a lot of massage therapists out there that are therapeutic massage, and they will go in and they will actually break out that scar tissue. And that's my recommendation. If I had something like that, that's who I would seek out.
Yeah. And then what about stretching?
Well, stretching is very good. I think stretching is fantastic, especially, well, only if you've warmed the muscle up. If you're stretching in when you're cold, not a big fan of it. But when you're warmed up and stretching, I think it's great. But just remember, the movement of your muscle didn't break up the scar tissue. Stretching it is probably not going to break up the scar tissue. It's going to stretch everything around the scar tissue, and that's okay. But just remember, the scar tissue is still there. And if you force the stretch, you could even tear the scar tissue even more, right?
That's right.
So so the key is get rid of the scar tissue. That's really the bottom line. Get rid of the scar tissue. You'll move so much better.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Well, our question to you is, how has this helped your understanding of how your muscles may be feeling tight and sore, and how the understanding of how scar tissue plays a role in that? So let us know below. We appreciate it. So if you're interested in learning more about our foam rolling and self-care programs, just check out the links below. It's yourhealthystepstools.com. And then I'll also put the links below for other videos that are regarding the adhesions, repetitive movement, and posture. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Bye-bye.
Christina from Your Healthy Steps. Have a great day.